Okay, in the last few videos, we've cleaned up this image. We've adjusted it, we've sharpened it, we've removed dust and scratches and such, and we're now about to colorize. Before I did that, I wanted to balance out the image, and so what I did was I looked at the areas that were really bright and distracting, like these hands, this bright area off to the side here. And I just did a levels adjustment, which tones that down. You can see the wall on the left really loses focus, and it's now on the actual subjects. The same thing with the hands, which were kind of really glaring. So, and they also put like a vignette effect around the edges. Okay, so that's just prepping it for print. If I was just print this as a black and white, I would do something to that effect. So now I have my before and my after, and I can start colorizing. So I want to use a color reference, and since I don't have any old photos from back then, I'm going to just use a photo of somebody from with similar appearance. Just going to drop this on here, but I want to drop it on in color, so let me go to RGB, don't flatten, and I'm going to paste this in here. And I grabbed two images that I thought I could use as a color reference, and I'm just going to get rid of this. Alright, so for colorizing, I'm just going to look at one figure for start. And we're going to try and compare the image that we're colorizing to the images that already have color. Okay, so my recommendation for this is to simply go to the layer that you're on, create a new layer above it, which we're going to start filling with color. And we're going to change that to color mode. So I'm going to sample colors using my paintbrush. So with the paintbrush on, if I press the Alt key down, it'll give me an eyedropper. So for instance, for the cheek, I'm going to sample here. You can see it picked up the color there. And I'm going to make the brush a bit smaller. And I'm going to start brushing it in. And I'm going to apply this as a general color. Now, 90% of the videos that are out there right now on colorizing use one color for the face and skin. And it's a dead giveaway that this was not originally this color, or was not originally in color, because it's one color, and all photos are made out of multiple colors. These images, if you were to open up the info palette as you move the mouse over it, it would show you all different color values as you move it around. And you can see a pretty big difference between this image and these images because of that. So we're going to try and get as close as we can to these images in terms of colors. So I'm going to sample another color. And don't want to bring that in so bright, so I'm going to tone down the opacity 40%, maybe 20. Just going to kind of get a feel for the color. And I can sample from either of these two. For the eyes, maybe I'll sample from here. And the lips, let me try here. And let's get some tones from the forehead. Just kind of want to mix in these colors that I'm sampling around. Never steadily the same color. It should vary. Alright, that's somewhere along the lines of what I want, and now I'm going to sample hair color. That's probably a little closer to it.
That stupid race. Wait, I was meant to see.
Don't mind my TV popping on there. And just apply that color. Okay, so we have some basic color in there, and underneath this veil there should be hair color, so I'm going to grab that, and let's see if we can't throw a little color in here. Not too strong because the veil is white, but it shouldn't be pure black and white. Just take my eraser to bring back some of that white. So we have some color behind it. And now that I have all my colors on this layer, by the way, you can break your colors up into separate layers. I just find this is easier and faster. And I'm all about convenience. I'm going to duplicate this layer. It's in color mode, and I'm going to try changing it to something like overlay mode. And the reason we're looking at overlay mode is, let me just turn off the color layer. Overlay mode actually takes the gray pixels that we're seeing here. See all these like gray tones? And it actually applies a color to them, which is good because in real life we don't have any gray pixels in our photos, for the most part. So we want to take the overlay, we want to apply that kind of effect, not too much, just want to tone it down a bit. And somewhere over there, and the image itself is a little too yellow for my taste, so I can just sample that color, Control U, and maybe scooch it over into the red tones a little bit more. Something like that. And now if we want a little more faded color, well, just lower the opacity. And that's how you would continue with all the other colors. I'm going to pause for now before I continue.